going to give you a quick walkthrough of the new authoring tool that's launching the end of May. This new tool shouldn't look really different from what you've been used to in the past, but it's kind of taken that resource and lesson option that we've had in the past in the resource bank and combined it into one. There's some great new features that are going to make it a little more slick for you, and I think you're probably going to enjoy it. So the first thing before you can create anything at all in the resource bank is you have to make sure you're logged in. So it'll go up here to the corner if you're not, and you can get yourself logged in. The next thing that you need to do is you have to decide, you have two choices here, whether you want to submit a website or a link from the internet or create an open author resource. So this would be similar to our resource in the past or the lesson option. This adding a link is still the same process as it was before, so we don't need to talk about that. Let's take a little bit of a closer look here at the new open author tool. So when you open up, the very first thing you should do is give your resource a title and add a picture. That'll just help you find it again later, but remember, everything saves automatically in here, so don't panic. You can always just go up here to your account in the top right corner and go to My Items, and you'll be able to find your draft there. So you don't have to do this all at one go. You can work on building these resources out a little bit at a time. So let's just say we're going to give this a title, and I'm going to get real creative and call it title. We're going to add an image to our resource. So I'll just go to my pictures folder here, and I'll just randomly grab something, and you can see it's going to load that image in there. So then you're going to give your section a name. This would be the title of your overall document. If you're going to have a bunch of different sections, then think about what those subheadings would be. You can add different sections in this authoring tool, but you don't have to. You can just go with one. So I'm just going to say test 1. You can put, again, any title that you wish to in here. So then you'll come down here, and this is where you add the content. So whatever it is you want to add, be it text or attachments, I'll show you in a second, this is where you would do it. Now you're going to notice here the toolbar is quite expanded from our last option, and there's some great stuff in here. So you can still do the same thing when you're adding different headings. You know, you highlight what you're looking at, and then you can add it to different sizes and headings. You can change the font here. You've got the option to tab and center or flush left and right here, adding quotations, bullet things. Still the same way we add a link to a website. We do that here with the little link, and that will just pop up. And you would paste in the URL and put OK here. If you want to change what shows up so that it's just a piece of text instead of the URL, I'll show you here. So would be what I would put. And let's say I wanted to put this link in here. I would just go copy, come back here, go down here to the URL, click paste, and OK. So now this shows up with text instead of the actual URL. But if I wanted to do it just with the web address, I could just put the web address in here, and it would come up like that. So you have some choices. You don't have to. You can do it whatever way you feel would be best for you. You can add images in here and tables, and yes, even videos. That's new and exciting. And also this new math equations option is quite great, especially if you teach math or chemistry in high school. That should be quite useful. There's also a dictionary where you can add definitions, and you can go in here and show blocks if you want to get really fancy. So that's all there. And then, of course, you can also import from Google Docs or into from OneDrive, our Word documents, right into there if you want to do it that way. And then you've got the ability here to attach. So instead of in the past, the paperclip was up here in the toolbar, now the paperclip is down here. So you just click it. You can either add in, again, a URL, you can name the resource, or you can select a file. So I'm just going to choose a file here. I will just randomly grab something here and click save, and now that document is there. And I can edit it and change it and delete it or get rid of it completely if I want. Down here, this is new. You have the option of leaving some notes for the instructor or anything special that you might not, that would be kind of like instructions, like a recipe, you know, first do this, or you might want to consider that. You don't have to fill this out. You can see it's marked optional. But if you want to give these notes just to the teacher or the instructor, you're able to do that here. And it has the same toolbar as the previous section. Then let's say that was enough for me and I'm done my resource. I would go up here and click publish. But if I wanted to add a second section, I can do that just by clicking insert new section. And you'll see I get this one now minimizes and the new section expands. And I could call this section 2. And then I could fill this all out the same way. So I would just put my content here. If I had a resource to add, I could do that here with the paperclip and save, click save so that I know it actually goes there. I have the option to create more instructor notes if I wish to, and I can add another section if I want to keep going. But let's say I'm good with that. So I can preview and have an idea of what this looks like. I can see what the instructor will see, or I can go and see what the student will see if I want to choose my option. Now, when you're choosing what the student would see, you would not see those instructor notes. That would be really the only difference. So then I click publish, even though I'm not done. That's different. We have to click publish next. But the other thing to consider before we go on any further is if I want to collaborate with people up here in the top left-hand side, I'm able to add other authors. So if I want to add somebody, I would search for them by name. I'm gonna search for Carol here. And because I'm in staging, people won't show up. But I would just find them, click on them, and then I could add them as a co-author as well. So you still have that option to do. In the previous screens, it was down here at the bottom on the left side. So now it's up at the top. So just if you that kind of gets buried a little bit, that's where that is. So if I want to save and just make sure I'm saving, I can do that. It will save automatically for you though. I can preview it like we just did, or we can go to the next step. So we click publish to take us to the next step. This is where we provide a brief overview. You can see our image is still here. I can still change it. I can change it whenever I feel like. This is like our abstract in the past one. So this would be where we would put that information here. You can often just grab some of the text from your previous screen and put that in here. And the nice thing about this here is that in the overview, now you have the option to add links and videos and all kinds of things into your abstract that you have not had that option to do before. So that's kind of a cool thing, and you can make your abstract look more appealing and hopefully capture more attention to your resource. It will automatically give you a license down here for Creative Commons. If you, however, want to change it, you are more than welcome to go down here and change it. But this is our default, and this is what most people are using when they're creating their resources. So then you're going to see just 4 things that you must fill out. Before they were kind of spread out all over the place. It's nice now that they're all together. So you do have to pick your subject. Now remember, if you ever get stuck, you can always just pick education. You're going to pick what it is, and you have to put that it's English or whatever language you happen to be using. So here, if you like to, you can also align to some curricular outcomes if you choose to do so. But this is an option, but it's a very similar process. So let's say I was aligning to math. I would pick a grade. I would pick a learning domain, and then I would select the tag and click Add Selected Tag. So now this has an outcome aligned to this resource as well. And I can answer as many or as little of these that I want, but of course, the more information that you fill in, the easier it's going to be for your colleagues and your students to find your resource. So feel free. And remember, if you want to click more than one of these things, you hold down the control button and you can pick out more than one thing at a time. Then down here, you're going to give yourself some tags so that this is easy for you to find again. Something that's going to, if you're thinking like a student or thinking like a teacher, how would they find this resource? More tags, the better. Remember that if you're creating a tag, you need to put an enter in between each separate tag. So if you write a really long tag, nobody's probably ever going to find that. So you want to have your keywords, enter, keywords, enter. It'll look something like this. All separated like that. Then there's one last thing to do here. By checking this box, you are saying that you have permission to use the images. And that being said, you just want to go up and make sure that the picture that you're using is Creative Commons up here. If you're not sure about that, or you're not sure if you have the rights to own the image, Two really good places to go are Pixabay and Pexels. And you can always find really good Creative Commons images on those sites. So just keep that in your back pocket if you're looking for some. Then you're going to click Publish. And at this point, it will submit it, and it will be in a draft form. It'll go into the admin panel, and myself or another administrator will go in and then approve it. So, but this is what it'll look like. It'll look very similar to what our previous resources looked like. Again, now, because people might want to remix it, they can do that here, which is where you would just change the title, make sure you're adding in your new content, making it useful for you and your students, and then you would republish it. You can download this, you can share it. There's features where you can use more accessibility features in here as well. So, and you can report it if you think there's a problem with it, but we haven't had any issues with that. So that is the basics of the new tool. I think it has some really powerful things, some really great options. Just like everything, it'll take a little bit of time to get used to. But if you've been working in the old version, I don't think it's going to be a real big stretch to get you used to that. But you can always reach out to me and ask me, and hopefully this video will give you a little bit of help with that too. And just remember that we're all on a learning journey with the Resource Bank, and don't worry, it doesn't have to be perfect. I am here to help you with correcting things or fixing things or assisting you in any way that we can. Everybody is learning, and the more you practice, the easier this will get. So thanks so much for your time, everybody. I hope you found this useful, and enjoy the new tool.